Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 451, recorded on November 2nd, 2023. On tonight's episode, we talk about the WarioWare reviews, a new patent by Nintendo, and P.S. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe final tracks arrive next week. We're going to break down all the nerdy Nintendo news of the week that you need to know here on Nintendo Dads. Jesse, cue the music! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome to the Nintendo Dads. Grab a stool, grab a seat, grab a pop, sit down, enjoy yourself, because you are an adventure for probably 90 minutes to 2 hours worth of the Nintendo nerdy news of the week that we think you need to know about. Of course, again, I'm your host, Justin Mass, and joining me are two of the coolest guys around the internet. First, the man behind the board who presses all the buttons and makes us sound pretty good, Mr. Jesse Waldeck. Jesse, how are you today, sir?
Pretty good. My wife gave me a scare though this morning. While I'm on a call, she sticks her head, down the stairs and says, "Hey, Justin's here." I'm like, "What? He didn't tell me he was coming. Do I have anything that I owe him? I think I already gave him everything I had." And Then I came upstairs and no, it wasn't you. It was her nephew that we haven't seen since her brother's wedding back in April.
Okay. I like how your default answer is me. That's the thing that I love the most, right? That no, there couldn't be anyone else. Has to be Justin. Also, that I would completely arrive early in the morning to Kansas City without announcing myself to you, showing up for no reason, and also you don't have anything of mine. There's a lot of
I'm like, I know we had things shipped to my house to give you, and at the moment I couldn't remember if I already gave them to you or not. Turns out, I did. I remembered sending the FedEx.
Yeah. That very expensive FedEx, might I add. That FedEx ended up costing me a lot more money later, thanks to Canadian Customs. We'll talk about that later. But
oh boy,
hey, can I ask Jesse? It looks like, and maybe it might be because my cameras and my connection isn't great. Have you shaved your mustache down?
I did a trim.
Okay. All right. Yeah, usually it's a little bit more full, but you can tell the mustache
when
is
it gets
shorter
to the
and the
point
beard is longer.
When it gets to the point when the mustache goes in your mouth when you're trying to eat food, it's a little. That's when it's too long.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. And of course, I would suspect if you did end up trimming your beard, you'd use the wonderful products over by Manscaped. Of course, you could use that promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for checkout for 20% off and free shipping. I assumed you used their products, Jesse.
I did. I used the beard trimmer with the adjustable blade to do this versus on my side, and then I trimmed it off with the I forget the name of it, but the hedge trimmer, the newer item.
Yeah. Well, fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. That has already been our Manscaped ad. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of someone whose beard I am always jealous of because I cannot grow one. Of course, getting ready for his Extra Life 2023 campaign. He's looking perky as usual, getting mentally prepared. Loving the hat collection, of course. He's got it. Yes, that's a fantastic Extra Life t-shirt as well. That's, I think, my favorite one of all the ones I've seen, by the way.
I also have this.
But of course, I see the Extra Life pin. He's ready to save the lives of children around the world, of course, supporting Miracle Network Hospitals. Ladies and gentlemen, our Extra Life champion, Timothy Off. Tim, what's going on? What's good this week, pal?
Well, speaking of Extra Life, as you said, we're getting ready for that this weekend. I'm excited to be playing that. We just kind of winging it this year, just kind of having fun with it, just kind of doing old fashioned, hey, we're going to be playing games. We're just going to have fun with it, type of thing. So that's what's going to happen. And again, this Saturday at 3:00, that's when I go online, start streaming. I've been talking to a few people. We'll probably be doing some things with me and the NSO guys. That's Chris, HL, Shannon. We'll be playing some Mario Party 3, I think, since that came out. So we'll be doing some of that. But I also today went to volunteer in person to do some Extra Life things, starting today to help set up their tables at a convention that's going on here in downtown Detroit. Help them set up, and then tomorrow, Friday, I will be going to do 6 hours of Extra Life campaigning at the convention. So for
awesome
volunteering, but what was really cool is they just announced this year for the first time that if you have a channel or a donation page, they're going to allow you to. They're going to set up a QR code for you there at the table so that when people donate, obviously it's going to go to that local hospital, my local hospital, Children's Hospital here in Detroit. It goes to there anyways, but I'll get it counted towards our goal or my goal.
Beauty.
Which is really cool. So for 6 hours, if anybody chooses, what they're doing is a campaign for every half an hour, there's a character that you get to vote for with that QR code, depending on whose QR code you pick, on who your favorite Super Smash Brothers character is. So you get to pick by donating to that QR code, and then that person win, that character wins and moves down the tournament that way. So I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be able to knock out some funds towards my goal tomorrow night, and then Saturday night again or Saturday at 3.
So literally voting with your wallet.
Yes. People will be voting with their donations for sure. I'm really excited about what's going on. So, and I can't wait to just hang out with everybody who comes by in the stream and play some things. And I'm going to try to play a lot of, if it's quiet, I might play a few games single player games, but if there's a lot of people hanging out, I might do a lot of, games where people come join in, like obviously Mario Kart, and then we might also do, Mario Wonder as well. So, we had a lot of fun doing that. Although I haven't been playing as much as some of you, like Jesse, you beat the game essentially. So I haven't played as much as you have, but I've been playing a lot, and hopefully we'll be able to play more and go from there. But I know we probably would have talked about a lot about Extra Life stuff later on, but I'm just super excited about it. So I just had to get it all out. I had to get it all out of my chest.
That's good, and absolutely you should. And of course, Tim will be streaming this weekend. You can find the links to the page on our social media right now. Tim, can you, if you can, just remind us or head out there and maybe put that tweet out so that people are aware of it. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I actually lost power. It turns out my computer was not plugged in and it just died. So now I'm like, apparently it needs power. All right. So, of course, checking out that website. But Tim, we also have giveaways that we're doing this weekend as well, because we partnered with some of our favorite publishers and who have provided us codes that we are going to be giving away. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We got thankfully some codes that were shared with us for several games that we've been playing that we are going to give away digitally. This year we wanted to try to make it simple for everybody, not just for us, but for whoever donates, and they win a prize. It's going to be digital. You win it right there, pretty much on the spot while we're streaming, essentially. So it's like, okay, whoever streams within the next hour will, I'll like maybe roll a number or something and say, whoever the fifth one is or something like that. Maybe I won't announce it, but as an example, the fifth person who donates will be like, okay, hey, so-and-so, you just donated, you actually won a code for X. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we got quite a list. Actually, I have to put together that list. We have it somewhere. I have to look at it. But
it was in our channel.
Yeah, we can talk about it later when we get to that point. But it is. I'm super excited about how we're doing it this year. So we do have the potential of. We had the potential of doing physical gifts, but I think we're saving the physical stuff for our 10-year stuff. So next year. So, but this year we'll try to make it easy make it digital stuff. So
100%. And Tim, remind us, what's the goal that you're shooting for? I think it's 2,000, right?
$2,000 is the goal I'm going for here. So, and we got lots of team members as well. So it's not just me that you can donate for, but you'll be able to donate to anybody on the team, anybody who's coming to join. And they'll have their times as well. And we'll try to make sure we get that posted. And of course, if you go to our Extra Life page, our team page, anybody on our team who could be streaming, we can make sure that they're streaming on our page as well.
Yeah. So you'll be able to catch us all, the Nintendo Dads coverage on our Twitch, YouTube, our Twitch page, our YouTube page, all those great places on our Facebook feed. So there are tons of places for you to catch, watch, support Tim. Even if you can't donate, retweets, shares, jumping in the chat, saying hi, just being there helps and gives us energy. And so we greatly appreciate that. Hey, folks, we have spent a lot of time talking about some amazing things that happen in our community. It's all because of you. But let's jump right into the news, shall we? And our news is brought to us by the amazing folks over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where you support this entire show and all the content that we create and help keep our mics and our lights on, but apparently not the power within my computer. We may have to increase our Patreon pledges. But hey, if you're over at Patreon and you don't want ads that we put onto our show, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads for as little as $1 a month. You get an ad-free version of our content. All right, folks. So jumping into it, and I don't have the document open at all. I'm literally flying off the sweet seat in my pants. Let's talk about Sega throwing some shots over the bow at Nintendo, saying they want to speed up and catch Mr. Mario. Tim, can you talk to me about this now?
Yeah, so there was a interview with Sega essentially, and they basically were trying to talk about where their goal for Sonic is, and they just basically see Mario being the pinnacle, I guess, and they want to reach where Mario is, but also surpass it, do better than where we see Mario today.
Yeah, and Drew wants to surpass Tiger Woods. I don't see either things happening.
Right? Very, very true. Yes. So, but I mean, look at it this way too. Nintendo at one time admired, and maybe they still do, Disney, right? So maybe they'll never be as big as Disney, but they're certainly making strides to be pretty good, pretty up there, right? So you never know. Sega's doing pretty good with they're starting to turn around their games. I don't know if they're going to get there, but they're starting to turn around their games.
Yeah,
and then
Mario has kind of always been good. May not have been great, but they've always been good. Where Sonic has had like 20 years of meh, with a few games that were decent. So he's got a ways to catch up.
You definitely have your Sonic fans for sure. So, and there's always going to be those people who that's who they went with during the 16-bit wars was Sonic. So that's always going to be their first love too.
2006 says hi.
Yes. But it's not it doesn't seem as big as where Mario is today. But Mario took a long
time, and especially since Nintendo just put out probably the best 2D Mario ever.
Right.
2 weeks ago.
There's something to be said about how they developed all that too, right? They were like, okay, they didn't put a timeline on anybody. They wanted to have kind of a free flow design, and just let them at it. And look what we got out of the Mario Wonder game is spectacular design, because they didn't push a deadline. And maybe Sonic or Sega will learn from that and make further Sonic games.
Yeah, I think there's something to a little bit to be said, sort of, I think about, the commentary of like aspiring to be something. Right. And so I think, of course, we go back to the 90s and the rivalry that happened there. And of course, it is not lost upon us that Sonic and Mario have a brand new game that came out the exact same week when you talk about competing. Right now, there really is. I mean, yes, we're Nintendo fans. There isn't really competition, right? Like Nintendo won that competition a while ago because Sega, you don't exist. And you literally are just a software company now. Right. So Sonic, but I will say like Sonic's success in the movies was huge. Right. And I think that was such a great time. Like, it was one of the best video game adaptation movies in a very, very long time, which I think kind of gave the industry sort of a breath of, wow, maybe video game movies are okay. And I would say then a couple of years later, Nintendo follows with a Super Mario movie. Right. So I think there is some aspirational back and forth. I think Sonic and Mario will always be tied together.
Yes.
In some way. Right. And I think in anything, competition makes us better, right? Whether we talk, and this is one of the reasons why we talk about why, Microsoft owning everything under the sun is not great, right? Because if there's a monopoly, there isn't competition. So competition, makes us just better in everything that we do. So I think that, I think it's great that Sonic's like, or this team of Sega's like, yeah, we want to push, we want to be good, we want to catch up, we want to be better. Good. Right. Awesome. Yes. Guess who benefits from that? Us, video game players. So have at it. Give a go.
Exactly. And again,
then of course,
it's not just the games, it's the IP that they want to make sure they want to get to that Mario level, right? So yes, having good games will help, but they're already on that path with the movies and all. Sonic is up there with Mario, I think, with identifying him, I should say.
Yeah. But then in the next breath, Sega announces a new game for Apple Arcade. I'm like, okay, is this really the way to go? Is this really the direction you want to take?
but I, and there was a point I'd have to go and check. Q rating, which is sort of like, if memory serves me, Q ratings is sort of like the brand IP penetration into a market where people can recognize, like, hey, 97% of people recognize Ronald McDonald or Mickey Mouse, right? At one point, Sonic had an incredibly high Q rating in regards to recognizability as a brand. And so I think that, more of any brand awareness just helps the IP. Movies, video games, right? Wherever it can be, it just helps the IP continue to grow. And if there is you can play as Sonic on my iPhone. Oh, I can also play as Sonic in this game called Smash Brothers. Oh, I can also play as Sonic on this thing called the Nintendo Switch in Sonic Mania or Sonic Superstars. Those are all good things for the IP and the brand. So I think, I can't really fault them.
Yep. And again,
right, well,
I said, Mario had the Disney goals in mind, and look where they are now. So
they can continue to push that way. Yeah. All right, excellent. Right, moving on to our next item. Kevin Afghani. We're gonna butcher this.
Afghani.
Afghani voicing Wario in WarioWare Move It. Same individual who voiced him in Wonder, correct?
Yes. Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm presuming he's taking over all of Martinez's characters. So whatever game Waluigi shows up in, he's probably going to voice that too.
There you go. Fair enough. So that's great. And of course, WarioWare Move It coming out tomorrow, or today, or yesterday, depending on when you listen to this. But when we're recording this November 2nd, Metacritic has a score of 75%. I'll say 97. I was like, what? WarioWare? No, that's not right.
Yeah, wow.
That would be crazy. How are you guys feeling about WarioWare Move It coming out? Are we excited?
I'm passing on this one.
Okay. I've learned something with these games that it's a multiplayer game, especially local, is that now that my kids are older, we play less and less together, unfortunately, unless, like in the living room. More so, say on online, we're still playing, like where we can join in together, or it may be something more, in Sammy's case, more of the mature level of games we're playing together. But with these type of games, the WarioWare or the Everybody 1-2 Switch, we got that one, but we played it once and nobody's had any interest to want to get together and play it again. Now, granted, some of these things will probably be great for like parties. So, you got the holidays coming up, so that's a given as well. So I still may end up getting this, but for me, it's not an everyday thing like it was before when my kids were younger. Like this would have definitely been something that we would have bought and had on hand to play.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's like probably the same for you, Jesse. It's less like,
yeah. The early wee days when my kids were younger, we had Smooth Moves and we'd played it a few times and really didn't care for it. So this is kind of that up to the next level.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of like the 1-2 Switch games, right? Which is, listen, I'm probably not cracking this out by myself, hanging out in my living room, But
Right.
listen, we've got a
That'd be
couple
kinda
friends
funny.
who come over right on a Friday night. They've brought over their kids. We're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna play some crazy zany games and act kind of weird,
There you
right?
go.
I think this is sort of the niche it falls into. People definitely love mini game ensembles, and what we've seen from is it does like lean into a lot of some of the Nintendo nostalgia, even pulling from some of their older games and kind of using mini games in there with slight variation. So I think this will definitely find an audience. But I just for me, my kids are definitely not interested in it. But I know that Marty's interested in it, and he'll have some coverage of it this weekend when it releases for us as well.
Yeah,
So
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what he comes up with.
Yeah. The last WarioWare game I bought was the one on Wii U.
Mm,
And I did like most of it, because a lot of the games in that collection were based off of the mini games that they showed off at the E3 2011 demos.
okay.
And with one of my favorite ones was Shield Pose, and I have a video of that with Roger playing that on my, I think it's my channel.
Mm.
But when that game was the last game to be unlocked, and they changed it enough that it's probably one of the worst games in the collection. And I was really disappointed doing that. And as soon as I unlocked it and saw what they did with it, that's when I stopped playing.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think
I
the
see in
one
the
that
chat
we
here.
like,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the one that we liked the most in our house was the WarioWare Inc. Well, that was on Game Boy Advance.
The
Because
original one.
it was more of yeah, I guess so. So it was more so the single player, and everybody kind of had fun with it on their own.
I think my favorite one of the franchise was Twisted, because that did have a good gimmick.
Nice.
I see in the chat here from YouTube, Koopa Kid 80 says my 8-year-old is very excited for WarioWare, right? And I think that's definitely a good. Like I do think like if you've got younger kids, this is a great game to consider as well. Hey, but hey, if you don't have younger kids and are looking for a classic from the Super Nintendo era, you would not be going wrong with Mario RPG. Now, Mario RPG is not out. As a matter of fact, it's not out for another 2 weeks. But the team over at Nintendo Dads HQ got to get a sneak peek behind the curtain. And
most
so
of us
if
did,
you
right,
want,
Tim?
most of us did. Someone's got locked out of a Zoom room. Tim, I'm looking at you. So if you're looking to know more information about what Nintendo has changed in Super Mario RPG, that's coming up here on November 17th, our sneak a peek with Nintendo and what we saw, what we observed, and what our thoughts are, we've got a bonus episode hitting your podcast feed this weekend, so you can do that, or you can head right over to our YouTube channel where we have got it plus some B-roll footage. So we talk about all things Super Mario RPG coming November 17th, and we're super excited to be playing it as well when it finally arrives. Speaking games arriving in November, Harry Potter fans, get your broomsticks, your wands, and everything ready because Hogwarts Legacy is coming this November, but it does have a day one patch. Tim,
Yeah,
can
get
you
your
break it
router
down?
ready.
What's going on here? What was that?
I said, get your router ready.
Get your router ready. Why? Because we got a day one patch. Let's break it down, Tim. What do we got here for Hogwarts Legacy?
So Hogwarts Legacy is coming out shortly. Let's see. Requires a large day one patch. The website shows the game is 6.8 gigabytes in size, and My Nintendo reports that 8 gigabytes will be required to install the patch. This could mean it's an 8 gigabyte patch, or could mean that it's a 4 gigabyte patch, and the extra space is needed to perform the installation, even though the space will be freed again when completed. So the speculation is that the publisher chose to use smaller size cart, which requires the rest of the game to be downloaded before it can be played. Releases November 17th.
Boo earns on that idea. Tim, you've pre-ordered this?
I've pre-ordered this, yes. So it's digital, so I'm not worried about the cart thing. Right. But yeah, I was excited. I wanted to play this sooner, obviously, when it came out for the other systems, but I didn't get around to it. So I like the aspect of being able to play it on the go. Hopefully I can play it on the go. And I'm looking forward to checking it out. Hopefully it plays well. And I know graphically it won't be on par with what it was on the other systems, but I hope it's fun. And the graphics, I don't like saying passable anymore. I think the graphics should be still good looking for what I expect it to be good looking on the Switch. I'm not expecting, like I said, PS5, Xbox Series quality graphics, but I am expecting still good graphics for me to not look like I'm
this is from the same
looking
team.
at blocks.
This is from the Warner Brothers development team.
Yes.
Right. Who also just put out Mortal Kombat on the Switch. Is that right? Am I right on that one?
Though,
not the same, but the same publisher. Yes.
It is. Yeah, same publisher.
Are we a little bit concerned about this at all?
No. It's two different development teams. Okay. Not the same publisher.
Devs, just different publisher, same publisher.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least with Mortal Kombat, they were trying to make a day and date, which obviously they missed that by a mile with this game. So hopefully that means it's good. So Tim, I have a question related to what you just said. Sure. Do you still want it to be close to quote unquote realistic art style like PS5? A face looks like a face. Or would you be okay if they did something with what was common in the Wii era, where like PS3 and 360, the Ghostbusters game at that time is a good example. In the PS3 version, the characters looked like the actors. They looked like Dan Aykroyd and whatnot. But the Wii version used more cartoony stylized. You want it to go? Would you be okay if it went that far, or do you still want it to be closer to looking like
real? I think it would be fantastic if they had a art style specific for the Switch, but I doubt companies take the time to do that, because that would be more money to develop that type of thing. I'm just looking for. I've seen enough games to where people can make good looking games on the Switch. I'm not talking about realistic versus cartoony or anything like that. I'm just meaning that the graphics shouldn't be janky.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Because, there's enough games did that on the Wii that when they did, especially with Ghostbusters, that was kind of a negative in people's in the gamers' eyes.
Yeah.
They wanted it to look more like the PS3, even though that wasn't really possible.
I think I'm hoping that because of the extra time they took to get it out on the Switch, they are able to make it look decent. We've seen games that look, and I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know we had this with Outer Worlds, right? Where Outer Worlds was janky. It had janky issues. I was still getting through it. I was still having fun with it, but man, the janky issues that it had at first was jarring and would kind of like you'd be taken aback. Or even like even though it's cartoony graphics, Scarlet and Violet, right? We just talked about that multiple times, how many times, that jankiness can be, off-putting. That's all I'm saying. I don't want janky. I want it to be smooth. You can bring down the graphics and doesn't have to be, ray tracing, obviously we're not going to get, and you don't have to have like the smooth or whatever you want. I don't know what terms to call it on the PS5.
You're not looking for 60 frames per second. You just want something consistent, like a consistent 30.
Yeah, 30 or better. And consistently, not dipping down to 18 at any time. I want it to be at least 30. And I want it to be where Outer Worlds did come in and fix it, where it was playable and not janky anymore. I think companies should be at the point where they can do that right off the bat.
Yeah, whereas in your Pokemon example, I think after the first DLC, it actually got worse.
Yeah, that's frustrating. And it's like, I think when companies say stuff like, a lot of times when they say like, oh, we couldn't get it to this, or maybe they don't say something at all, but when companies say or don't say anything, or the company doesn't do something to where we think it should be on par at graphically, it's usually blamed on by the community by saying, oh, the Switch doesn't have enough RAM, or it's the processor or whatever. But we've seen plenty of other companies able to get great looking stuff out of the Switch. And that's all I'm asking is like, there's got to be a way. I don't know if it's secret sauce or something like that, but there's got to be something there that people should be able to get to the point of figuring out the Switch. It's 7 years old, right? So,
I think it's understanding how to work within the constraints that you have.
Yeah.
And use those constraints well, as opposed to like push against them and break them.
And I can understand. I
I'm
can
optimistic
understand it
about
on a game that is programmed on a different system and trying to downscale it to Switch. I can understand why there might be some jank. But again, Pokemon was designed for the system. That is no excuse.
Well, and then
Yeah,
when you hold on to a game this long though, too, with everything else being out, then you're giving me the impression that you took the time to get the jankiness out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No more jankies.
And folks, we'll see if on
Call me
November
Thelma.
17th there'll be some janky. Tim will have coverage, so you can watch along and see whether he indeed is a Gryffindor, a Slytherin, or a Huff and Puff, and making sure that some weird
or a janky.
or a janky. We're just going to make sure he's not janky.
Is that Thelma?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's talk about Twitch to ditch the Nintendo Switch. I like it. The Twitch app for Nintendo Switch will be discontinued and delisted effective January 31st, 2024. Do we have any more context about why? I mean, and also, of course, that's where the most of our Twitch watchers are right now, of course, watching us on the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode
Totally.
on the toilet, I assume is exactly how all of this works.
Well, yeah,
They don't carry their phone around. They carry their Switch.
My first reaction was, there's a Twitch app on the Switch?
I did the same thing too. I was like, really?
Although
I think we all did the like, hey, watch, you can see us on Twitch thing.
I know we did that for YouTube. I don't think we did that for Twitch. But yeah, it launched 2 years ago.
Huh.
November of 21.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone's going to miss it because I don't think anyone used it.
No, there's
much with it.
Yeah, there's got to be data that says, listen, the 10 people who downloaded this, only 9 ever use it. So like, why are we trying to do updates and push, changes? And it's not a great experience. So we're not going to do that. So if you are on the Twitch app watching us or watch our content on Twitch, good luck, I guess is all I'm going to say to you.
Well,
you've got 3 months.
You've got 3 months to go. So
yeah, savor it. Take photos.
Maybe it's because Twitch they're like, oh well, Switch 2 is coming out in 3 months, so
don't yeah, that's it. Yeah, Twitch is the lead line for why we're getting a Switch 2. Yeah, of course, right. Let's talk about some game updates that are coming out as well that you need to be aware of. Earlier this week, of course, timed almost perfectly for the spooky day of Halloween. Nintendo has released some new games for the Nintendo Switch Online, including on the Game Boy, Castlevania Legends, and on the NES, Devil World, and the mysterious Murasame Castle.
I was afraid you'd say that.
Okay,
Murasame.
That's exactly how I said it. You just didn't hear it right. Must have come through the internet wrong. That's your
sure. We'll go. That's your story. Okay.
Murasame.
Jesse, Devil World. Am I right? That was not initially released in North America, and Shigeru Miyamoto was heavily involved with it.
Yes, and yes, and also Murasame Castle was also not North American release. I think we might have had that in Virtual Console with a Wii or Wii U, but yeah, that wasn't released on the NES. And
did you?
Of course, go ahead.
I was going to say, did you guys jump in and play any of these yet?
I have not. I want to look into Devil World because I've heard a lot about that game. It's kind of like that was like Miyamoto's Pac-Man clone response, but
interesting.
But instead of the player moving around the maze kind of moves around the player.
Okay.
So it does put a little different spin on it.
So what I'm hearing, folks, is that if we finish the show early tonight, Jesse is going to be streaming over on the Nintendo Dad's Twitch channel. Watch for Devil World and his first look.
Probably not.
He didn't say no. So we're going to move on. Hey, speaking of more exciting news from Nintendo, and this one I'm super excited about. This one I am pumped about. Earlier this week, I think actually yesterday, it was announced that Mario Kart 8 Ultimate Booster Course Wave 6 has been officially announced. There are final 2 cups, the Acorn Cup and the Spiny Cup. Over in the Acorn Cup, we've got Tour Rome, GameCube, Donkey Kong Mountain, the Wii Daisy Cup, and Piranha Plant Grove. Over in Spiny Cup, we have got Tour Madrid, 3DS Rosalina's Ice World, SNES's Bowser Castle 3, and the Wii's Rainbow Road. Honestly, do we need another Rainbow Road?
I'm surprised there wasn't
now 6.
I'm surprised they just didn't do a Rainbow Road Cup.
There
of
should have. It should have just been the
all-
Rainbow Cup.
I was expecting that in the last batch.
Yeah, of course we do Rainbow Cup, and then you're going to hear about it forever. You can see where this is going. All right. Also, there are 16 racing suits and Daisy racing suit available with a Daisy amiibo. We also got some other additional playable characters in this patch as well, right? We got Diddy Kong and we got Funky Kong, I believe, right?
I didn't read that, but it doesn't mean
it's in the press release they sent us.
I didn't.
Did you not read the press release? Why are we getting press releases if you're not reading them?
I got this much out of the press release.
For flip's sakes. Come on now. Come on. Either which way, this is the final booster wave coming on November 9th. So a week from today, folks. And this is going to be at 96 courses. 96 courses are now available in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe if you have the Nintendo Switch Online or are paying for these levels. Folks, where do they go from here? Because this feels like too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is, I don't know how they do better than this.
It's got the same problem as Smash. They're going to have.
This is exactly it.
Yeah, they're going to have to roll something back. Of course, now that this is finally done, that just means Mario Kart 9 will be launch title, right?
Or it's just it's going to be just re-releases of these games and make it like Mario Kart Ultimate.
I'm going to say a controversial opinion, and it doesn't business-wise make sense. 100%, it doesn't make business sense. I'm with Tim. I'm okay if it's like Mario Kart Infinite, and if they roll out a Mario Kart Infinite, when you buy it on the Nintendo Switch 2, it preloads already with the 96 courses here, all of this stuff. And they just continue to add more booster packs, more players, more skins. And they just let it continue to breathe. And to almost the degree that like Smash is like, hey, guess who's here? Every Carter is here. It's Sonic, it's Metroid, it's, the guy from Kingdom Hearts, Sora, right? And check out his Mickey Mouse car, right? Like,
which,
and we're driving around
Sakurai's
Disneyland.
Company name named after Sora. So yeah.
Yeah, like I'm okay with that.
Yep. And I'm sure there's going to be some things where it's like, okay, here's the I don't know, and then it won't be Ultimate anymore. But I'm afraid there's going to be licensing issues at some point. But between that and Smash, it's like, yeah, where do you go from here? The only thing I can think of is, oh, here's a remaster, or here's a tweaked version of it for this new system,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the same game with new textures. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically,
I don't know.
With like what you were saying, Justin.
Now in 4K.
Here's a new version, and it includes this bonus material or whatever.
Darth Platypus says it's the Blob from Boy and His Blob.
Yeah, right. Like, and I'm sure, like, obviously Nintendo is solutioning this, but I would hate to be like where do you go? Like, and you have two IPs, to your point, Smash and Kart. Where do you go next? How do you redo this?
But
because you've sort of like, you've made it the best possible version.
But weren't we kind of thinking the same thing with Mario? Like, where do you go with Mario after the build your own courses and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I think what we said there was yeah, I hear a little bit of what you're saying for sure, right?
Between with new Super Mario Brothers and then the Mario Builder game. What the heck is the name of the game again?
Mario Maker?
Mario Maker.
Thank you. Jeez, oh Pete's. I couldn't think of Mario Maker. But yeah, with Mario Maker, everybody was talking about, well, with all these courses everybody's making, everybody's putting their best ideas in there and all this blah, blah, blah. And then nobody could think of anything. What could they do different from new Super Mario Brothers? Obviously, they got to sit there and think about it. They got to put fresh people on it. So who knows what we could get that.
So what I'm hearing from you then is, listen, Nintendo, you've had like 10 years to figure out a really good Mario Kart 9.
They probably
so our
did
expectations are blown out of the water.
Yeah. No. That's what they did with Wonder. They just let them loose, and they didn't have a definitive date. Like, just have fun with whatever your designs are, and then we'll go from there. And then
I really would love to see Nintendo like take Mario Kart in like a season pass mentality, right? Where it is, hey, here's new carts, here's new courses, here's new, like all Jesse's like, I hate you for saying that right now. If you were here, if you did show up today, Justin, I would murder you.
I am just so tired of the seasons pass thing. Yeah, every game's got one now, and it's just ridiculous.
But I could see that if it's part of the online package.
Yeah.
You know, like you pay online, you get this game.
Yeah. And like that would I mean, there's an interesting statement, right? Hey, could you imagine that? We don't sell Mario Kart 8. The only way you can get it is if you're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber. And like just gatekeep it. And that's the, like, you want to get people to, well, I guess it's sort of like what they're doing with I mean, that's the pass, right? Like that is essentially like, I pay my $100 a year and I get all my levels.
Yeah. That's your NES package. It's the DLC from Animal Crossing. You know, it's just, here's a whole retail game that's blocked behind the subscription.
Yeah. If there
you'd want it anyway just to play the online. So what's the difference, 100%. Right?
Yeah. If there is any game that I think would be ripe for a season pass, games as a service model, it's in Nintendo's world, it's Mario Kart. Right? You have your biggest selling game. You could do so much with it in regards to like monthly drops of here's new vehicles, here's new courses, all of that. Like, and just feed the beast. Right. And by the end of the Switch 2 life cycle, the value of this game is like $300, and people just know it is Mario Kart. Right. And like, I don't know. It's interesting. So
it could have been testing that idea with the tour stuff too.
Yeah.
Being mobile, and then they stopped it and getting ready for whatever they're going to do next.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that's November 2nd. So if you're counting here, folks, November 9th, I apologize. November 3rd, we've got WarioWare. November 9th, we have Booster Pack 6 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And on November 17th, we've got Mario RPG. Nintendo is serving you up some sweet, sweet treats. And so you best be ready. Speaking of some sweet treats and maybe getting near the holiday time, speaking of some more game releases, Ebenezer in the Invisible World launches tomorrow, November 3rd. Tim, you have this in our notes. I think you're excited about this, you not?
I'm the one. I added it to the notes, but I think Tim was the one that was
Tim
looking
is
forward
excited.
to this.
Yeah. Tim, you're excited this, aren't you?
I always I'm a Christmas Carol fan, so I'm very curious about this game.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Well, hopefully it pans out well, and hopefully we got a code for you to be using on that soon as well. Speaking of some more out later information, of course, as Jesse had talked about earlier, there is some DLC coming for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet DLC. That is the Indigo Disc coming in December 14th. Jesse, are you excited for this?
No, I didn't buy this is the type of thing. If you buy the DLC, you get both packs. You can't buy one or the other. And I didn't buy the first one. Not the second one is, if they fix the game, then I might be more inclined to buy the DLC. But at least my son will be getting it. He's already bought the DLC, so at least I'll be able to hear if it's any good or not from him.
Okay. Well, Nintendo, you heard from or Pokemon Company heard from Jesse. Fix the DLC, y'all.
So Link is gonna do come onto your channel and do a video on it, right, Jesse?
He streams to his private Discord buddies. I'm like, just do this on Twitch. You get a bigger audience. But
you're right.
He doesn't want to set that up apparently.
Well, if he streams to have him also record it at the same time, and then we can maybe edit it and use some of it. Since none of us seem to be playing it.
Yeah.
Although I did re-download Scarlet because Nintendo man he got extra codes from GameStop to be able to get the Mimikyu. Actually, Violet's the one I have. He had the Mimikyu card that GameStop had that was available, where you could download Mimikyu and bring it into your.
Very
So
cool.
if I did buy the DLC, I'd have to buy it from the Japanese eShop. Since I bought the game from the Japanese eShop, that's just a little bit more extra of a hassle. So yeah, I put this on myself, but I get the game a little bit cheaper and a day early doing it that way.
Out of the 2 DLCs, I think the first one is the one that interests me the most. Not this one. The Biodome thing, I don't know. Just didn't seem interesting to me. But it's not for me. I hope those Pokemon fans out there are liking the DLC. But hey, let us know in the comments too. Like if you are enjoying the DLC, let us know about it. Or if you're not, let us know. I'd love to know. Either way.
We might need to get Roger back on to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
Well, folks, that is it for our news. Let's take an ad break from our sponsors over at Manscaped. It's not a bird. It's not a plane. It's a ball trimmer sent from space. Gentlemen, our friends over at Manscaped have been working night and day to bring you a below-the-waist grooming experience like none other with their brand new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. We're talking about a next-generation trimming with interchangeable blade heads for whatever shave your mind can imagine. Upgrade your grooming game to the ultimate sphere this year by going to manscaped.com using the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. It's high-tech grooming solutions for low places and low prices. Again, head over to manscaped.com. Of course, we talked about early in the show how much we love Manscaped. Right now, I haven't got the Lawnmower 5.0 yet. It's in the mail. It's on my way to me. But I'm going to tell you, I've been using the Handyman compact razor. I shine. Look at, like, this is a clean, easy to use shave. I strongly dislike shaving. I do not like shaving at all. I prefer a 5 o'clock shadow. I find it just, I don't like it. But I'm going to tell you, the compact Handyman makes my shave nice and simple and quick. It is smooth. My wife said to me today several times, she's like, "You are a good-looking man shaving." And I was like, "Yes, I am, both upstairs and downstairs." Ladies and gentlemen, of course, head over to manscaped.com and use that promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Folks, hey, the holidays are around the corner. You got to give the gift that really shows that you care about them. Head to manscaped.com. Big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support, not only for our show, but also for our own hygiene and health, keeping the Nintendo dads clean shaven and looking good every single day. Hey, Tim, back to you. Hey, listen.
Hey, listen.
That wasn't bad. Like, the pitch I had, hey, listen, wasn't bad at all.
Right? And it says it on my hat too. Hey,
well, that was why Tim, that's why I called it out.
I know.
I
don't know if I know you saw this. I didn't know if you saw this.
I did. You popped your head down for a moment there, and I was like, there we go. There we go.
All right.
Tim, you got some fun discussion, right? You always bring us the good rumors. You got some hot stuff,
we got some discussions. We got some rumors later on. Yes, we got some few things. but let's discuss a thing. Something very interesting came out this past week in regards to patents that Nintendo submitted.
Patents.
And that patent was the split screen, not split screen. Yes.
Sorry, just as you're doing this, I apologize, Tim. I hate to interrupt you because you're going to talk about this. Jesse, can you pull an image of the patent so that people have it available? Also, Jesse, do you remember before the Nintendo Switch, we had Adam Leonard come in and do a drawing of what we could you pull those two images up? Because I think somebody has been copywriting our work. Tim, back to you.
I'll see if I can find all that.
All right. I think that image is in our Discord as well somewhere, the Adam one, because I think I referenced it before. But anyways, yeah, that patent talks about something. The drawing looks like something like it's a DS in a way. with a screen on top of a screen, but the top screen, instead of flipping up or just flipping up, it actually detaches and allows you to be able to flip it so it's a single screen device, or stack it so that you can see dual screens, or detach it so that two users potentially could use each screen, or you could just, have one screen up somewhere else or whatever, however you want to use that configuration. But the patent is to show that it is a wireless detachable screen that can be detached from the main device, which was very interesting, which made me want to ask the question of StreetPass. If they bring back a dual screen device, is it possible they would bring back StreetPass, since there seems to be a lot of love for that set of games? We've talked about it before. Our friends at other shows talk about it a lot. StreetPass was, when you lose it, you miss it, right? So we lost StreetPass, we miss it. We miss that connectivity we had with just random people that we'd get and be able to play games based on that. Would you guys want to see, regardless of whether this patent is true or not, whether we get a dual screen or not, would you guys want to see a StreetPass type system come back on the next Switch?
I'm going to share with you a story. So obviously you guys are fully aware I had the opportunity to head down to PAX West just last month or in September, and the Nintendo Live event. I decided to pack my 3DS and turn on StreetPass because I was like, this will be a great representation of how StreetPass is doing. And the amount of StreetPass occurring there was crazy. I turned it on, popped it in my bag, and walked to the convention center. And I get there and kind of just walking about, get back to my hotel, and I've got 10, like the limit. Boom, boom, boom. Super easy, right? And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. The next day I go back and I bump into a friend I saw there, and he's like, did you bring StreetPass? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, I don't know about you, I'm having to clear it hourly. I was like, what? He's like, I am clearing out hourly of people who are hitting me up on StreetPass. And we were waiting in line to actually do a game, and he opens up his phone or opens up StreetPass and clears it out. StreetPass was such a cool, experience for people. I used to love, when I traveled for work and had my 3DS, I pop it in my bag, travel, and I'd go through airports, right? I'd land and I'd be like, I hit 6 people who had DSs, right? And it was such a neat experience. I loved StreetPass and I thought it was such a cool experience. I would love for StreetPass to come back, and it was so cool. It was so great. Please come back. Baby, come back.
I'm just actually, you made me think of this too, because I'm going to be at the convention doing the Extra Life stuff. If I can remember, I'm going to bring this with me, my 3DS as well. So,
yeah.
I had fired up Samus Returns on it too to play it a little bit, but
that's a junk game.
I'm going to ignore that. Anyways, yeah, StreetPass, I think more and more people, and I've seen some stories on that. In fact, it was in one of the a news article on My Nintendo as well, where they were talking about somebody leading a group of people in the area for Halloween to get together and do StreetPass events and stuff like that. So I would love to hear if the community has their love for the StreetPass as well, and if they have their own maybe get-togethers for StreetPass, that would be kind of cool to hear.
Yeah.
And then too, I'm going to see if I get any hits, and I'll share it during my Extra Life stream if I get any hits.
Yeah, do it 100%. So, yeah, I think StreetPass is such a cool idea. I loved it.
Hopefully the battery will last. It's like
the battery in that thing lasts. Those things last pretty well. I was shocked. Mine lasted the entire entire day, and then when I came home back to the hotel, I plugged it in for a little bit just to make sure it was recharged. But yeah, it's good. Nice.
Jesse, what do you think? You want StreetPass?
I actually do. I did like the StreetPass functionality of the 3DS, and I would like to have something similar to that back again, especially in whatever mini games that get packed in with it. I liked the puzzles. I liked the RPG thing.
Yes. Collecting all the little hats and stuff.
Yeah. Not all of the mini games were great, But
Right.
like I didn't like the slot car game, and there was a few other ones I didn't like.
Yeah,
But
some of those were addicting for sure. The haunted house one, I had a blast with that one.
Yeah, there was some great stuff.
Yep. Excellent. So, yeah, I would love to see it, whether we get a second screen or not for the Switch SS, as we were talking about in the pre-show.
Yep.
Split screen. So it'd be Switch SS. But anyways, regardless of whether we get that or not, I think StreetPass 2 or whatever you want to call it, StreetPass Plus, plus would be awesome. All right. Well, we know that the patent's not a rumor, but we also did hear another rumor that's been circulating the interwebs. So let's talk about a little bit of rumors. There's a little rumor going around that potentially we get a Zelda remake before the end of the year. Do you think that's actually happening?
No.
Like, is it too soon?
No. The only way this happens, I'm going to tell you the only way that this happens, all right, is it is called a Switch remix. And it is a shadow drop, and it's like a 20. Remember how they did the NES remix?
Yes.
This is the only way it happens that we are not aware of it at this point. There is no way Nintendo is going, let's just stop for a second and let's logically think this one out. You're going to tell me that Nintendo is going to drop a remake of a Zelda game before the end of this year with zero fanfare or hype that we have heard about in the next 7 weeks? No, it ain't going to happen. This is absolute bunk. The only way that it happens is if it is a indie sort of like eShop only $20, $20 to $30 sort of like remix weird. Do not think that this is like, they've taken
like what they did with Necrodancer.
Yeah, like that thing. So, yeah, that would be the only way it's going to happen. Do not think they've taken Legend of Zelda 2 and completely remade it. Where is that? It's not happening. You're 7 weeks to the end of the year. That's not going to happen. That is not Nintendo's discourse at all to do that. That would be the dumbest marketing idea ever. Now, it's outside of cycle, but you're like, Justin, they dropped Metroid Remastered with zero information. That's fine. That's part of the regular cycle. They are not dropping this in 7 weeks from now by the end of the year. That's not going to happen. No.
Yeah, I think
Stop it, Jeff Grubb, with your rumors that are wrong.
I think the earliest we might see something is Successor launch, with it being, it'll be a Switch release that's backward compatible to work with the new system, and it would be Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
And if you are someone, I'm going to tell, this is how confident I am. If you are like, no, Justin, this is happening. I know it's happening this year. I believe. I have gone to the top of the mountain. I have seen the light. I have the tablets. I have been told the good news gospel of the Legend of Zelda remake, and I were going to proclaim it from the heavens, and I am 100% right. I will take you on a pizza bet, which is, if I am right, and it does not arrive by the end of this year, you, whoever you are, owe me a pizza. I will tell you where you can order it from locally. I will send you my address and you can send it to me. And I will tell you this, if you want to bet with me and you end up being right, I will pay for a pizza for you and send it to wherever you want. Who is going to take the bet? Who is going to take the bet?
I have come down from the mountains, Justin, and I have a bet for you. I'll take that bet. So the only way I see this happening is that you're right. It won't be anything like Wind Waker or anything like that without fanfare. I think it'll be lower level thing that's not as big, but I potentially could be remade for the Switch, and that is Four Swords.
So here is what we are. So we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the jury and the judge. Let us be clear here on the parameters that we are setting for our pizza bet. I am stating there is no Legend of Zelda remake remaster that is arriving in the next 2 months from Nintendo. Also, just as a fair warning, if for some odd reason you're like, hey, on the NSO, we've just re-released this weird Nintendo Zelda game that was only released in Portugal, that doesn't count. All right, none of this like weird NSO
Pringles
stuff.
Rupee Land.
Right, none of that. It's got to be an actual like, here is the game, and here is a remake remaster of it. Are we fair on that, on those terms?
There's a caveat to that term for the NSO side. Think F099. There could be potential that, yes, it comes on NSO, but it is Four Swords for NSO.
But is that a remake?
I'm not talking about.
Do you know what I'm saying is that
it can't be that was on a previous system. It has to be a remake. It has to be
okay.
Like F099 to me is a remake.
That would be fair. That would be fair. So if there was a Four Swords remake Legend of Zelda 99 Royal Rumble available on the Nintendo Switch, fine. I'm okay with that. That counts.
Yeah, for me,
but it cannot just be like randomly this game was released on Game Boy Advance in Portugal and here it is now. Sorry, people.
I think there could be a remake for Four Swords.
Terms and conditions are that it has to be released before December 31st, 2023. Available on
Yes, that's the only one I could see doing that, but everything else is too big to be just like you said, to just kind of drop like that. So unless it was just straight up like nothing was, but that's not even a remake. We're just strictly talking remake. Like,
okay, all right,
yeah,
okay,
I'll take that bet.
Okay, Tim, have you ever had what's known as a sweet canoe? Of course you won't, because it's only available in Canada. You're gonna be paying for one for me. It's a type of pizza here. Sweet canoe.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't remember if, when you said, up in the mountain with the tablets and stuff. The first thing I thought of, I don't know if it was Life of Brian or something similar, but those. The Lord has granted us 15. What tablet breaks 10 commandments?
Yes. Yes.
Also, hold on a second, one moment. Ninfrendo, none of this BS in my chat, all right? Tim should have been vague, like Justin's yearly predictions. A game with a guy and a sword, find a thing. Get out of here.
A guy with a sword. Yes, exactly.
Ninfrendo, you time yourself out. That is not
a game with four guys.
Listen, don't come shooting at the champ unless you take your action, unless you actually get the shot. All right, that ain't gonna happen. All right, come on. The belt isn't here because the shipping is too much. It's too much for our small independent company to be able to afford the shipping for that massive championship belt because of predictions. I will take I do feel a little bit better. I will like legitimately though, this rumor of the Zelda thing, there's no way, unless it is a small indie remake like this that you're talking about, there's no way it is a Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker remake, Twilight Princess. That doesn't logically make sense because
Nintendo usually puts out one Zelda game a year, and they already did.
Well, and that, and also between the 17th to the end of the year, and yes, there's the Christmas time in there, but you need to load heavy before that for people to get into the season for shopping. Right, basically from middle of November to January, it's sort of actually from a video game release schedule. Although there are games released, it's really quiet. The big releases are not there. It doesn't typically happen unless something got kicked down the street.
In fact, I'm surprised the Pokemon DLC is releasing as late in the year as it is.
Yeah,
that was kind of surprising.
It doesn't make sense. Now, if you were to say to me, if Tim was like, Justin, what do you think of Legend of Zelda Remake in 2024 at some point? Then I would have said, oh, now you're interested. Now I'm thinking it could happen.
Right.
But with 7 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks left in the time,
Nope. I agree. It's just the potential of Four Swords. Maybe it's more of a hope, I guess. That I would love to see Four Swords come on the Switch, but I think I could see that being the remake because it's not as big, and they gave that away for free at one point, on the DS. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good bet.
Good bet.
Get ready for your pizza.
Yeah, that'll be January, right? That'll be January right after a holiday New Year's resolution.
Yep.
I'll be like, I need a pizza.
We got pizza covered, everybody, in the first week of January.
All I'm going to expect in the office is then seeing Tim expense report over a pizza for $25. What? I'm not approving his expense report.
Just in time for the weight loss contest.
Exactly, right? Yeah. I am not playing in the chubbies bracket. I'm just getting chubbier in this bracket. All right. Hey, speaking of that, Tim, why don't we talk about some events that are happening around the Nintendo community?
All right, here's a reminder, everybody. Don't forget about the table, which happens every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern time. That will be Eastern Standard Time by the time this happens this year, because it'll be after the 5th in North America. The community gets together at the table, otherwise known as the Discord voice chat room, and we discuss whatever is on everyone's mind. In fact, this last one, we actually weren't discussing too much. We were playing a lot of Mario Wonder, which was a blast. You want to join in? Subscribe to us via Patreon or Twitch and get access to Discord and join in on a schwack load of events like the table and
we work together to find secret worlds.
Yes, that was so much fun. And like I said, I'm hoping to do that with Extra Life stuff. Monthly Mayhem is going on with Dad's After Dark. They've got that going on with some Mario Wonder Mayhem going. They just finished up some Halloween stuff. And then we'll be looking forward to doing Presents After Dark, the Secret Santa stuff in December. So if you want to, again, come do that kind of stuff, be a Patreon or Twitch subscriber, and you can come join. We got the Retro Rewind thing going on right now, which I think there was a vote done on it. I forget which game it was. But if you want to come participate in Retro Rewind, you can come hang out with us here in the Nintendo Dads Discord or in the Retro Rewinds Discord and participate there. And then you can even join Dat Fast John on a discussion about that game when they do a recording of what your thoughts were on that classic game that you were just playing. So got that going on. Again, if you're in the Seattle area or you plan on going to Seattle anytime between now and 31st, make sure you go check out the Seattle Aquarium, where they've got an Animal Crossing New Horizons theme going on. And if you do go there, we'd love to see pictures. Please share with us and let us know what that's all about and if it's as awesome as it sounds. And then also we have Extra Life 2023, like we've talked about, like I talked about at the top of the show. We'll have lots of digital prizes to give away, codes to games. And then Marty's planning on doing at some point this year, maybe, if he's got time. He's a busy guy, but he was planning on doing a kind of a chill build Lego type of stuff. That's on hold right now because he's super busy with classes and things like that. But who knows? We got until the 31st to collect things for Children's Hospital. So we'll see how that goes. I think his son Isaac, though, was planning on doing something. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure he'll share some information about that. And then myself, I'll be doing it 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll be starting then and playing for at least 12 hours. And then depending on what's going on, I might play longer. So we'll see. But again, that's going on this Saturday. So come hang out. And again, we have lots of team members who could be doing things throughout the rest of the year for Extra Life. So stay tuned and go to our nintendodads.org page and click on the Extra Life banner, and you'll be able to see our team and find out who's doing what and when. That's it for the events. Let's move on to what we've been playing.
Let's do it.
All right.
So
are we
my little rant,
Mario?
Yeah, let's talk Super Mario Wonder. It's been 2 weeks and I've been playing it.
Yes,
we want to talk about it.
Yeah, you out on our conversation about it last week, but
I haven't got super far. World 2, the Cloud World, and I am absolutely loving it. And yeah, 100% like it is ton of fun. Every single time I get a wonder seed, like what's gonna happen? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out, right? Like it has that glimmer and just like shine to it. There are moments that it just like Venice, like there was the first time I hit one of the cloud ships, right? One of the Bowser cloud ships.
Yeah, for sure.
The first one, and I was like, oh, this is Super Mario 3.
Yes.
Like the nostalgia hit me in the face like a hard slap. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, great. Like, and it just felt so familiar and amazing.
There's so much throughout this game that it's like you definitely get those Super Mario Brother 3 feels and
Super
then
Mario
World feels.
It is so enjoyable. And then there are other times where you do levels and and I've heard people are like, oh, it's a pretty easy game. There are definitely some easy spots, and if you are just trying to get through the game, maybe. But there are also like this is like challenging. I didn't find all the 3 stars. I missed one of the wonders. I did not get the golden flag. I don't know where that secret and then I'm like, am I losing my step? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, am I getting too old? There was a crisis I was having regarding playing Super Mario Wonder that I was like, maybe I'm not as good as I used to be. And then I was like, I don't care. I'm having fun, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, like almost all. I think probably what World is probably like one of the hardest Mario games, and it's gotten easier since. So the entire new series has been easy with hard end game, and Mario Land, Mario World is the same thing. So this being that, no surprise. So if you're expecting something else, that's on you. But this game does have difficult content once you get that far. There are levels, I pretty much stopped playing the game. The levels that I haven't beaten, I won't beat, and I'm happy with that.
I love the star system on it too that tells you what to expect when you go into one of those areas that has 5 stars or 4 stars even. So
I think that one of the other things I really like about it is sort of the easy, simple quality of life features. So what I mean by that is, and they definitely know there is that completionist in us, right? Who's like, I need to be on the top of the golden flag. I need all the wonder seeds and I need all the purple coins. Right. And so for my first day, I ended up playing it with my daughter for 2 hours. We were all playing as a family, the 4 of us. Because I got it on Friday and actually didn't get a chance to play it until Sunday. And I said to my wife, I was like, Jody, all I want to do is go home, order pizza, and play Super Mario Wonder. That's all I want to do. Can we do that? She's like, 100%. So we get home, order pizza. And I'm like, all 4 of us are sitting down and playing this together. And so we all got it hooked up. And I'm just smiling, like, this is awesome. And one by one, the family members just start dropping off. My wife's like, I think I'll watch you guys. Right. And so she drops off. Then my oldest daughter's like, I'm going to go do something else. She drops off. So then it was just me and Morgan, the youngest. And I'm like, all right, we're doing this. Right. But I struggle when playing multiplayer games online like this couch co-op, because the 42-year-old who's been playing video games forever and oh, I want to go to that pipe. I want to collect that. I see that. I know I want to go there. I do that. I want to go there. Or I'm like, oh, I want to get through this quickly. We've got to get speed. And then my daughter doesn't do those things. So I'm like, okay. We're going to finish this level. We've collected 2 wonder seeds and just one purple coin. That's okay. Moving on. Right. And so after day 1, we had done, I think, the first world, right? And I was like, this is great. It's cool. And then the next day I was like, okay, so I'm going to go and play 1 player and I need to go back and collect all of those things that we missed.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you can easily pull up, I think it's the L button on the shoulders.
Yes.
Pulls up this beautiful tile view at the bottom, and you can just scroll through and be like, okay, which one am I missing? That one, I don't have it all. Shows you what you're missing. And you click into that and it just does a quick load screen and you're there, right? You're not and I have to now travel past 5 different maps and
down find your way to that world.
You're like, are you? Yeah. I love that. So simple.
Right.
And then the other one is some of the hiding of coins levels. There's one, you go into a coin very early on. I think it's world 1. It's you have to find 5 of these secret coins. And I was like, I can only find 3 of them. and I can't figure out where the other
Yeah.
two are. And I'm like, what is wrong? What is wrong with me? Right. And so
Yeah.
that's a great opportunity to come back. I have not found the value in turning on the online function and seeing other people playing in the same level with me at the same time. If I'm completely honest, I actually found it super annoying. Now, I haven't set up rooms where I play with friends. It's just the
I think
online option and the ghosts are running around. I was like, that's super annoying.
I think it's the stages that you just said where, use the hidden blocks to get the coins. Those are the stages that turn online at that point because the ghosts will help you.
Okay. I may, but like, I just had it on at one point with like me, my daughter, and all the ghosts. And I was like,
if you see a ghost climbing a vine you don't have, there's a vine there somewhere. Find the vine.
And I wish that there was a way that like the ghosts could just be my friends on my friends list, because then that makes the experience uniquely special.
Well, once you set up a friends room of live people playing right at the same time, that will happen.
Right, but I don't want that. I know that Tim has gone through this level before, right?
Oh,
because he has the game. I want to go online and select an option that says,
you want like a Mario Kart ghost, where that's a pre-recording of what they did. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, I guess pre-recording. And it's like, do you want to see your friends do this level? I do. Right. And then I could watch it. And so like, if Tim's going through the level, I could be like, oh, hey, Tim, awesome. Like, dude, I literally used your ghost to help me find that coin. That was so awesome. Thank you. Because right now I'm like, Mark from Portugal. Also, by the way, if you're from Portugal and I keep calling you out, I apologize. It's nothing against you. Literally, I'm just using that as a country right now. I'm sorry. I will move on to some other country soon. Like it's so random. It doesn't feel connected. And for a game that I think sometimes can feel uniquely special, but also as part of a community sharing, I would just have loved that. Like, just want to turn on just my friends or I think you have like in the Switch, there's like my best friends, right? The ones that have stars on them. Like I want just those people. So I kind of wish that was there. It's just wonderful. I know that is such a used term in regards to it being wonder, but and so I am so happy to also hear how much everybody else is enjoying it, because I think when I played it at Nintendo Live, right, there is like very much is this the glistening of the moment here with everything else, right? The awesomeness of being at Nintendo Live and having all these experiences, and my rose tinted glasses, and the fact that it's not rose tinted glasses and it is genuinely amazing and awesome. I just love playing, and it is hard, and I like the badges and the challenges, and it will be very interesting to see where this sits at the end of the year in regards to like my game of the year ranking, or maybe where Tears of the Kingdom is ranked basically after all this kind of stuff. And I think I've talked before about like how I'm not a super big 2D Mario fan. 3D has always been my favorite. Galaxy is my favorite. Odyssey is my favorite. 64 is my favorite. Right. I do it really when they became 3D. That was sort of where I dove in more. But this is such a 2D with 3D conventions, if that makes sense. And the moment and exploration, and again, the wonder of anything that can happen, right? Like what they have done, how they approach it. It's fantastic. I could gush forever, but I don't know. What about you guys?
I think that's basically all the stuff we were saying last week and stuff. And it's one of those things where I just like keep going back into it and enjoying the time I have in those levels. And yeah, it feels like, am I losing my touch in platforming at times when you're going through? And there's other times where it's just like I go through and I one time it and got everything I needed. And it's like you feel good about yourself. Then there's other times like those 3-star, 4-star, 5-star ones where you're just like, okay, you're either going to go back and get the rest, or you're going to be like Jesse and be like, nope, I'm not going back to that course.
I've never finished like those end game levels in any game. Well, Mario Land, I think I did, but the 3D world where once you had to jump through all the hoops to unlock the final level, then I could not beat that. So there are stages that I couldn't beat they're all 5-star difficulty. And so at that point, I started going, let's go back to World 1 and try to collect everything. And World 1, I have everything collected except for one purple coin, which requires me to beat the KO arena in 70 seconds. I can't do that. I tried 5 times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's at that point, I'm like, howl thrown.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I did, other than that, I got all of the seeds in Worlds 1 through 7.
Nice. That's awesome.
I got 8 seeds, 6 seeds in the 8th world. I'll call it that for now.
Beauty. Beauty.
For me, for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, it's the different aspect of playing this game. It doesn't feel the same. Just like, I don't feel like I'm playing the same Mario game like any of these previous Marios. There's something different. And yes, it has some nostalgic factors that we were just talking about. Like there's some things that was like, oh, that's from 3, that's from World, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what, or it feels like that. So that plays very well into those nostalgic feels. But for those who never played those games, it's still a great game. And like, that's all new stuff. And for me, this feels, there's so much different stuff going on. I don't feel like this is not a Mario game with new paint. It's a whole new Mario with a lot of new things. So that's the way and that's why I think it's going to be, at the top of a lot of people's game of the year discussions, I think. So
awesome.
Anything else, Justin? What else you been playing?
Yeah, what else have I been playing? So I got a couple games. So I just put out a review this week actually and so one of the reasons why I haven't played as much Mario Wonder is I have been on review for another game called Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story. And you guys know that I don't play League of Legends, but I have been really loving the League of Legends story games that have been coming out. Song of Nunu is the 5th entry in the series of League of Legends stories that have been put out. And interestingly enough, what it is Riot Forge works with development studios. And so all the studios who put out these League of Legends stories are different studios, kind of like having their own adaptation of the content. And so Song of Nunu is a boy and his best friend journey of Nunu and Willem, who is the last Yeti, and their journey to find family, essentially, and their journey together. And they end up finding it's just a beautiful environmental puzzle game. There is some combat mechanics, there's some stealth mechanics, there is some not necessarily rhythm based, but you have a flute that you have to play music through. It is incredibly well voice acted. There's also like impromptu snowball fights and sledding down Willem, like it reminds me of levels in Super Mario 64. It's about 6 to 8 hours long is the game, so it's not super long, but there's collectibles to find. There's kind of like there are specific areas where after you finish the game, you can go back and say like, oh, I missed this mural, so I need to go back and find. I missed this chime, I need to go find. There is a lot of world building in the environment and the dialogue and the VO that is said. Not only Willem is not voiced, he's a Yeti, but he kind of reminds me of Chewbacca, right? Of like, Han will be like, hey, don't forget to do that. And then Han will say something like, don't give me sass, it's your fault too, you were there, right? Like sort of filling in the dialogue that's not spoken, but spoken on the behalf of.
Right.
And so they do a really fantastic job. The voice actor, the young child, is just tremendous. And then there are other League of Legends characters that you meet along the way who begin to flesh out some more of that world as well and provide more context. It is a really cool game. I said before in my review, if you are looking for a game that has heart, it feels like a Disney Pixar movie. Again, it is a friend or a boy and his best friend journey. I would highly, highly recommend it. I had it like by the end of it, I was just about in tears. It was just so well done. It reminds me of like sit on the couch with someone you love. It's not a really hard game. There are no lives and like game over screens. You can die, but it just kind of resets and here you go. It's really about the journey. It's about the story and the journey than it is the like brutality of sometimes what games are. Right. And so it is really, really cool. The graphics handle very well. It looks beautiful on the Nintendo Switch. Highly, highly recommend it. I think if you're looking for a good, cozy game to play over the holidays with a kid on the couch, hanging out, passing a controller, Song of Nunu is what you need to be checking out. The next game I've been playing a little bit of is Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed, the Ecto edition. And I did put up a Let's Play on our YouTube channel as well. Lots of plugs for our YouTube channel. Of course, you can check out our gameplay footage if you're looking for more. I was excited to see this game come to Switch. I will tell you right now, this game has bugs that are not okay. The developer knows about the bugs and are working to resolve them, but I had to work hard to try and figure out what was going on. I had to spend time on message boards and DMs with the developer to resolve it. That being said, when I played the game, I very much enjoyed it. And it made me feel like a Ghostbuster, and it gave you that kind of that like, we all want to be Ghostbusters growing up, right? And pulling out the Ecto pack and pulling out the trap and the EK meter and Slimer flying around. You feel that, and it feels amazing. And there is an asynchronous point of the game where you play with folks online and you can play as the ghost, right? Or you can play as the Ghostbusters. And so it's really kind of cool, this asynchronous kind of play function. It's really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. The bugs are big right now that need to be resolved. So 2 bugs that are aware of that I ran into that I had to get help from. First, if you have more than 100 folks on your Nintendo Switch profile as a friend, it will not allow you to authenticate and log into the game. That's glitch number 1. I have like 140 people. Why? Because we have a community and I accept everybody because we can play together. I couldn't play the game. I literally actually had to go over to my wife's profile, who only has a couple friends, to play the game. Okay, that's cool. The next one is I got in and there was no sound. Like, so much so that I actually thought there was something wrong with my OBS setup. And I reset everything and there was nothing wrong with my OBS. And I would go into a cutscene and there is Dan Aykroyd or the actor or Dan Aykroyd, who they even say is in the game playing, his character, and there is nothing coming out of his mouth, just flopping gums. And I was like, well, this is weird. I actually had to go into the settings on the Nintendo Switch, not in the game, on the Nintendo Switch, go to stereo and change it from, or speakers and change it from mono to stereo for it to actually have sound come out of the system. So 2 fairly big bugs that definitely but were barriers to my experience. So if you are a Ghostbuster fan and you haven't played this somewhere else, what I played, I enjoyed without sound. I enjoyed. I was finally able to get the sound working after working with the folks, and they told me what was wrong. And I was able to resolve it on my own end. And I did play several games with the sound on, and it sounded great, and I loved it. It was fantastic. But you may want to wait a couple weeks for a bug patch to come out on this one if you need to. But I recommend it. I really enjoy it. You feel like a Ghostbuster. Final couple 2 that I will quickly go through. Dave the Diver. I talked about Dave the Diver, the demo before. Dave the Diver's out. I love the Dave the Diver. Okay, that's it. Dave the Diver is amazing. It's awesome. Also, if you play the demo, the system recognizes that you have information on the system about Dave the Diver and asks if you just want to jump in where you left off. Why, yes. Yes, I do. Wonderful. Dave the Diver is awesome. You should check out Dave the Diver. And Sea of Stars. Still working through Sea of Stars. For the love of Pete, I am still working through Sea of Stars. If I didn't have reviews like Song of Nunu, which gave us 2 weeks, God bless them, to get it done, and games like Mario Wonder, I really want to finish Sea of Stars before the end of the year. That's it for what I've been playing.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Sea of Stars. I got through, and where was I? The autumn area. I forget, it was autumn something. I don't know if that rings a bell to you guys or not, but it's Autumn Hills. That's what it is. Yep. So that's where I am in the game.
Uh-oh. Did he freeze? Did he die on us?
No, he's thinking. Oh, no, he did freeze. Oh no. Okay. Well, Jesse, he is frozen. Do you want to tell us what you're playing?
Okay. Well, yeah. I want to also continue into Sea of Stars. I haven't done anything there yet, but there's one thing I noticed that I'm playing on the Switch version. Tim was playing on the PlayStation version. Is in the like cave air levels, it gets very dark, and on the Switch version, I think it's very hard to see. And those are when I'm having the least fun. I'm wondering if the PlayStation version and the Xbox version uses HDR to bring out the lighting and make it look prettier.
Gotcha.
And so it probably wouldn't. So it wouldn't be as bad as the Switch version. But yeah, I plan on getting back into that. So the one game I did play this week is I played Gotham Knights on my PlayStation, and the reason why I started that game was they announced streaming of their games if you are on the premium tier.
Okay,
So, yeah. So if you're not on the premium tier but in the middle tier, you can still download and play this game for no additional cost. But so if you're on the top tier, you can stream it. So I gave it a try just to test out the streaming, because when PlayStation Now got its start, and I gave that a try, it was garbage. But I didn't have any problems. I probably put in an hour and a half total, maybe 2 hours, and I didn't have any problems. It's very cutscene heavy early on, but when I finally got into some combat, the combat did what I wanted it to do. Then so I kept on playing it to the point where like one of the first missions is you have to break into GCPD to get a chip to decrypt Kirk Langstrom's work, a hard drive that you got in the tutorial area. And then so you, after an encounter with Talia al Ghul, she sets off the alarm on her exit, so the GCPD is just swarmed with cops. And you're supposed to try to get out without getting seen. And I can't do that. I'm not good at the stealth in those games. And I tried to fight my way out, and there was just too many. So I'm like, okay, I'm done with this game. So I did put in. I put it. I did, but the entire time testing out the streaming worked well.
Nice. That's it for you, Jesse?
That's all I've been playing.
All right. Well, I did. Is there a Discord message from Tim?
I haven't looked yet.
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen it. Okay. Well, then maybe you and I should jump into our community spotlight, shall we? Speaking of our community spotlight, before I jump in there, I want to say a big thanks to the amazing folks who are over in our chat. I see us both on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. A couple names I'm going to throw out here. Of course, Mo Spankins, Ms. Ebicel, the Snack Network. That's us. Koopa Kid 80, who's in there. Let's see who else is in there. Ninfrendo, who I yelled at earlier. Mecha Dragon, I see you. Joe Ill, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Darth Platypus, absolutely some familiar face in here. Love all of it. Chris 10AB, I assume the AB might be Alberta, but hey, welcome. We appreciate you. Who else do we got in here? I saw going through. I saw Matthew Burke. Thanks for being here again. A good friend mentions actually some commentary for our good friend Mr. Marty Estes, and thanks for recommending a game. And of course, just being Bruce. Bonjour, Bruce. Bonjour. So thanks very much for being here. And of course, we delayed enough that Mr. Timothy Alpha is back. Tim, buddy, how are you? I was afraid we lost you to the abyss, sir.
I can't even tell you what happened.
Okay.
Other than my
The-
internet
the-
went down, I have no idea
The
why.
podcasting gods are not on our side today. It's
They
because
are
I
not.
said they came down from the mountain with the tablets and said, "Thou shall not podcast." Tim, we are just about to move on to Community Spotlight, but hey, I'd be remiss if we did not talk about the games that you've been playing. Looks like you've got a couple on there as well. Of course, you've already talked about Mario Wonder and Sea of Stars, but Baldur's Gate 3, and am I right? You got a special package regarding one of the games that you were playing this week as well.
Yes. So Gordian Quest is what I've been playing. I talked a little bit about that. That was actually the game reason why I was late to the pre-show today.
Oh, okay.
I was in the middle of a battle and was like, I'm on my way. And then it was like 5 minutes later, it's like, okay, I needed to join because I thought it was going to be, the battle was going to be done, but no, it wasn't. This is a game that John from Dad's After Dark played for us and did a let's play or first look at it or first review. About 50 minutes worth of it. So he's been playing it. He got the first act done. And he said it took him over 8 hours to do that. But it's like, from what it sounds like it's too long to the first act. And he's like, I don't know if I want to go into the second act. But he said he's enjoying his time with it. It's just like he's not ready to keep going with it or something like that. He says he likes the roguelike mode more than the campaign more. Right now I'm in the campaign, and what I was telling Jesse earlier too is I need to learn the ins and outs of this game more. There's definitely some strategies to it, how to use the cards, because it's a battle card system where you use a deck of cards. Your character you pick uses a deck of cards that's based on their type. Like I picked a monk, and there's like 4 types you can pick from within that, or classes you can pick within that type, or it might be the other way around. It's like the monk is the class, and then the type of monk you are, you pick, and then you do the same with some other characters you recruit, and it uses D20 dice like you would play in D&D to roll for initiative, mainly for that purpose. And it uses like a lot of the things that if you are a D&D player, you are familiar with, like your ability scores and all that stuff to help give your character some buffs. But what I really enjoyed and what caught my attention was the deck building aspect, or using deck cards to play. But there's definitely strategy there to where you have to have synergies between the characters on your team, and then also synergies between the cards in your own deck so that you can play powerful cards to win a fight. So I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. So I'm sure there's other people who've played this game because it's been out on, say, Steam for a long time before it came to the Switch. And I believe there's probably some YouTube videos out there I'll probably go check out. But yes, Mixed Realms, the developers of the game, sent us a box.
Ooh, I always like it when a developer sends us a box. That's my favorite thing. I'm gonna be real.
This is the first time I've been able to get one of these boxes from the NINDADS headquarters. So it was pretty exciting to get. And when somebody says they're going to send you a box, I'm thinking, okay, cool. I'm going to get a box that's cardboard and some stuff in it, which is still wonderful. But man, they went all out on this one.
I got an apron for my game.
Yeah.
I did a video thanks to my daughter. She recorded me opening the box, and it was the box within a box, essentially. Yes, it came in a cardboard box, but when I opened it up, yeah, see, you got that one.
I got the tunic. I got the tunic
one, yeah.
box when they came through.
Press box. That is the name of it. That's a great name for it. I couldn't think of it. I was thinking like PR box or whatever. But anyways, it was a wood box that had Gordian Quest logo on it. And it's, you took it off, and I have a video on our channel about what's all in it. But basically, it's got all these awesome things in it. And after the video was done recording, we talked about what those things were and kind of got more into what they actually were than what I did in the video. Like there was a clay stand that potentially could hold a controller or a phone. I think we mentioned phone, but I think later on I was like, oh, this could hold a controller maybe, or even a Switch. I put the Switch in there, so did pretty good. And then the other thing looked like I said possibly a candle holder, but it's a little deeper. So I was thinking, oh, this could be a good thing for like putting pencils in or pens or whatever on your desk. So, and then there was a deck of cards that had really sweet artwork on it of the characters that are in the game that they gave with a wood box to hold those cards. So awesome stuff. That could have been my, timeout discussion, is just to talk about that. But that is for Gordian Quest that the Mixed Realm sent us that box. So big shout out to them for sending us the press box. And it was really exciting to see and share that with the community in our YouTube channel. But the game itself, I'm really enjoying. It is going to be a long haul game from what John is saying. Like I said, took him over 8 hours to do the first act. And I just finished the first town barely by the skin of my teeth because I was finishing it while we were doing pre-show. And Jesse heard me doing commentary on it. Like I was down to like 2 people left on my team. In fact, my team is only 3 deep right now. 4th one that I think I just picked up from that battle, and 2 are dead. And I have to figure, I don't have enough money to revive them right now. So I got to figure out how I can go make some money or something. But it is a lot of fun, especially again with those elements of it. I like Magic the Gathering or card deck games or deck building games like this. I like D&D. So these elements of it are what I've been enjoying about it. So it's going to be probably a long haul, like I said. So if you say the first act is 8 hours and there's, I think, 3 or 4 acts in this game, it's going to be a while before I beat it. But it's a great pick up and, try to get a campaign done and then go back to some other things like Mario Wonder and those other games.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Big thanks to the developer for sending us actually 2 codes and that press kit. That's man, that's great. Appreciate them. And I saw they're pretty engaged on Twitter too, so that's great.
Yes.
Anything else you've been playing? I guess I got some
just the usual stuff like Baldur's Gate 3 with Sam and Shannon in our community. They've been great in helping me learn about the character, and especially Sam. He's really Sam is from our Retro Logics podcast from the family of podcasts that we have. But he's been playing that and he's been helping guiding both me and Shannon through the game, and it's been a lot of fun. Again, more D&D. So that's been a lot of fun playing that. And I mean, I was thinking of asking to do that during Extra Life, but I don't know how fun it is to watch that game. As it's more fun to be playing it, but watching it because it's a turn-based game. Maybe not,
especially if you're that deep in the story.
yeah, and maybe not a lot of people will want to watch it anyway. So and then of Sea of Stars, like I said, so and Mario Wonder. So that's all I've been playing.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, let's dive into the community spotlight. All right. Oh, and of course, it was mentioned before, some shout outs in our Twitch chat. Of course, I finished off with Mr. Just Being Bruce, Mr. Bruce. But of course, Beer Cerveza showing up as a usual attendee to our stream. So what is going on? Thank you very much for that. Oh man, Abyssal with the sub for Amazon Prime, 45 months, currently on a 21-month streak. Man, thank you, Abyssal. I appreciate you. Appreciate your support, Nintendo Dads. That helps. Every dollar helps us to make this dumpster fire of a podcast. Because, by the way, folks, Tim's going to owe me a pizza, and you got to help fund that. Help fund Tim's Owen Justin a pizza fund. Let's talk about the emails that we have got coming in. Let's start off with Warren G. Akers. When Super Mario Wonder was announced, I was less enthusiastic. Well, it looked different from the new Mario series. It didn't seem distinct enough for me and just felt like they gave the Mario series ADHD. But after hearing the positive impressions recently, my wife and I tried out the demo at Walmart. After playing 2 or 3 levels, I can safely say the game isn't for me. It feels too busy. The visual noise, as though it were made for kids who are raised by their iPads. I miss the simplicity and slower pace of the older games pre-new. I've continued listening to positive opinions on the game, hoping to hear something that changes my perspective. But as now, I don't see myself buying Mario Wonder any further, buying or playing Mario Wonder any further.
But that's kind of how I was originally thinking this game was going to end up being. I even said it, and I made the comment, and Blanco picked on me when I said, I don't know if I want all this surprises as from the Wonder Seed, but I ended up liking it, and I played every level of the base game of the outside of the extra levels, the hard levels.
Yeah, I would say, Warren G. Akers, I will say this, it is okay not to like things. And if this game is not for you, I could definitely see what you mean by like the noise. I think there's a lot going on it sometimes, especially if you kind of compare it to some of the older like games in the 80s, right? The Talking Flower, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of color popping. There's a lot of sort of stuff going on the screen. So totally get that. So it may not be for you. And as we've said before, not every game is for every single person. So if this isn't for you, that's okay. And we can all say that is okay. And it's not my job to convince you otherwise and tell you that you are crazy for not liking something that I like, because that is what the internet will tell you. But Warren G. Akers, you continue to do you, friend. That's okay. Hopefully you find other amazing games that you enjoy playing and are playing this year as well. So don't feel like peer pressured. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's
no, I'm disappointed, G. Akers. I'm totally disappointed in you. No.
Right. We've got good parent and bad parent going on right now. So I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Right.
Yes.
You should really think about yourself. Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Absolutely. Let's go over to Mikey Berg. It says, hey, what do you think is harder these days? Translating a video game into film TV show or a film TV show into a video game? We have examples of misses on both ends, but I feel like there may have been more hits in recent years from video games to film and TV than film and TV to video games. What do you think? Ooh, this is a little bit of like what came first, right? The chicken or the egg kind of scenario. I do think from an industry-wide perspective, Mikey, I think that production companies have begun to understand the viability of video game IP and property and are understanding how to do it well. And I think people who grew up playing those franchises and have love for them are the authors and the directors behind some of the art that we see. Also, I think comes down to like funding and also how involved the production is with the creators of it. So I think example, The Last of Us, Neil Druckmann was like super integrated with that production, right? And so it felt like it was from the world, right? That he had built so effectively. And so I think when video games do that, when movies do that very well, I think it lands well. I'm interested in seeing what happens with the Fallout series when that comes out. Amazon has announced it's coming out in April. So very interested in seeing that. And we're hearing more and more games be adopted to media. Then we also see something like, do you guys remember Twisted Metal came out this year?
Yes.
I heard mixed reviews about that, but like it sort of knew it was sort of campy and was playing in that area. I don't know what's easier or harder, if I'm completely honest. I think the role that people play is challenging, right? In video games, you are that thing. You are more attached to it. So I think adapting a video game to a movie, and I guess maybe the reason that you're apting this question is Five Nights at Freddy's just got adapted to a movie, right? Is that experience is different, right? Is it in a video game, you are an active participant. In a movie, you are a passive participant, right? You are not changing the outcome. You do not have impact on where the story goes. So I think your relationship to those two things becomes exponentially different. And so I don't know if it's easier or harder, but I think all of those come down to who is around those IPs to understand the value of them and care for them and love them the way they need to be treated so that it is done well, either which way, whether it's converting a TV show to a game or a game to a TV show. Tim, what are your thoughts on this?
I was sitting here racking my brain trying to think of games that went from TV to movie to game successfully. Like, it seems harder to go from TV movie to game than it is now to go game to movie or TV.
I know, like during NES era, there was a lot more attempts, and again, very few were good. Uh, I think because of that, maybe they stopped trying.
Right.
And I also wonder, like, I think Zack Snyder's game or movie coming up, Moon something. You remember what it's called? He's a movie, some science fiction, but he also revealed he's like, and also, by the way, I'm also having a video game coming out. And the moment he said that, I was like, right. Like, I was like, you're wanting it to be something that it's not right now. You're wanting it to be a major, massive franchise. Rebel Moon. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this is a great idea.
Well, of course, we just talked about Ghostbusters earlier in the episode. So that's probably a good example of a game from movie to game that seemingly well.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's a great example of it. I think another one that we saw movie to game recently, we haven't seen the results, but early feedback is coming into Pandora, the Avatar game coming out in December. Essentially sounds like it's a Far Cry with blue people, but that may be what you're looking for. Who knows, right?
I'm trying to find it. I don't know if anybody else would remember this, but there was media that they specifically created to be both a show and a video game at the same time. It was like a sci-fi. 9? What's that?
Mighty Number 9.
No, that wasn't a show.
Are you thinking
he wanted it to be?
Did he? Okay. There was a TV show on, say, Sci-Fi Network or something like that, and a video game that went with it that you could play, and the game and the TV show intertwined with each other, and I can't remember what that was. Obviously, it probably didn't do that well, but it was an attempt, and I think. What I'm trying to get at is that obviously it was an attempt, and I think it lasted a season, and then the game obviously broke off, and then they did maybe a couple more seasons, and then it just stopped. But I think seeing something do something across mediums is pretty cool. Like, I could see, like, if somebody does it successfully, there could be a movie, there could be TV shows, video games, and say graphic novels that intertwine with each of those things all at the same time, not necessarily like it was specifically developed to do that type of thing. Like, even like the Matrix, there was the Matrix movies, and then eventually when they did the games, I think like the PC game or something like that, it intertwined with what was going on with the movies.
And then they circled back with the latest Matrix movie referencing games that were made.
Yeah.
I sometimes think the cross media attempts just become so watered down, right? Because you are so reliant on trying to tell other stories in other formats, and I understand the proposition, but I don't know anyone who's ever really done it incredibly well.
That's got to be hard. You got to be like a genius to be able to give different perspectives.
Let's be straight honest. Marvel hasn't done it well. And if Marvel can't do it well, and they have all the money, the resources, and talent, I don't know anyone else who can. And I don't mean that disparagingly, but I think that's sort of the facts, right?
Yeah. This question reminded me that I watched the Prince of Persia movie when I was in theaters, and my thoughts at the end of that was, it's an okay video game movie, but as a movie, it's completely meh. And it kind of felt like more like a live action Lion King, story beat to story beat. It was pretty similar.
That's fair. Great question from Mikey Burgett. I appreciate that. Let's move on to our next friend, our good friend, Mr.
Found it.
Beers.
Defiance.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. Good call. Beer Cerveza asks, do you think Nintendo may have something up their sleeve moving into the holiday season, or have they shown all of their cards? Beer Cerveza, God bless you for being here. I'm going to encourage you to rewind this tape by about an hour, where you hear a conversation about coming down from a mountain with tablets. You are in the right area. And let me tell you why they do not have anything else up their sleeve. Well, that is not going to happen. Also, you'll find out why Tim is going to owe me a pizza in about 8 weeks.
Four Swords coming out.
So I don't think it's been announced in North America yet, but it was announced in another region. So I'm expecting it to be announced. Is did you thought
Mario
I
Party with
thought it was
Joy-Cons, right?
no, I thought it was weird that the Mario Kart 8 bundle was announced and sold in October instead of November. Turns out, this may not happen in North America, but if it does, they're going to have a Mario Kart 8 bundle OLED for purchase, which hasn't been announced yet. But if it will be, it'll be. If should be soon.
I don't know if I'd consider that a card up the sleeve, right? That is a known quantity of Mario Kart. It's a known quantity of a Switch, and they're making a Switch bundle. I don't know if that's what.
At least it's a bundle they haven't yet done.
Sure, I think he's referring to he's asking the question about Zelda remakes.
But in terms of software, no, they're done.
You have seen it all. But good question. Ebicel asks, did any of the dads play Cult of the Lamb as the game trial? And if so, how far did you get? Did it bother you that your devotees died around the age of 40 to 50 years old? I played Cult of the Lamb. I bought it last year. I really, really enjoyed it. So I didn't need the game trial. I just kept playing it. I really, really enjoyed it. How far did I get into it? A couple of dungeons in. I think there's 4 or 5 dungeons. I think I got 3 of them done. It did sort of bother me that I didn't actually, to be honest, the fact they died at 40 or 50 didn't really super bother me. Just the fact that they died was sort of sad. I didn't like that at all, but good question.
I did play it too.
Yeah, your wife really enjoyed this game, doesn't
yeah, she beat that game, and that's why I decided to try the game trial and play it. I don't know why, but there's just something just was bothering me about it. So I was just like, I'm going to stop. I have plenty of other things to play. I may come back to it, but
I'd be curious. You and I I'd be curious to talk about maybe why it bothers you. And I know Marty had some bothers about it as well. And there was definitely some things that I was also challenged with and bothered by at certain times as well. Not necessarily the gameplay, but some of the themes and topics.
The themes,
that were discussed that definitely did not land well with me. Right, let's keep moving on to our next question as well. Alan, the hashtag look to the cookie says, am I in the minority that I don't have a problem with my Joy-Cons? I've never had experienced drift, and I can play an hour or 2 without any discomfort. I will say I love my Pro Controller, but for handheld sessions, I think the Joy-Cons work just fine. Plus, I love the different colors. My biggest gripe is that is with the D-pad, that there is not a D-pad. Now, Hoots replied with and said, all the Joy-Cons that I have had drift, and I've sent all of them to get free repairs. Quite inexcusable, but given free repairs goes a long way in my book. I will tell you, I have 5 sets of Joy-Cons, and 4 out of 5 of them have drift or I have had to send away. The only ones that I have not actually had to send away yet, and actually, if I send away some again, it will be on their second send away. But I actually do need to, because they have them again to a point where we want to play, and I'm like, okay, I need to go find one that doesn't have drift, and I literally have to go down here and grab the one that has the OLED. So I will avoid playing with my Joy-Cons if possible. I will just play with the Pro Controllers.
I'd be curious to learn what type of games Alan plays to compare with people who do get drift, and see if there's any, anything to do with the type of games that are played. Like if you're a little bit rough on that movement with the right side, or the left side, excuse me, and it drifts. So be interesting to see. Like you do a lot of first person shooters, right? So
yeah.
And so I don't know if there's more stress there.
Could be.
As opposed to say Alan plays more platforming. I don't know, maybe, or something like that, or puzzles.
Yeah.
Because there was a long time for me, my Joy-Cons that I've had, the gray ones that came with my original Switch, lasted up until when did Pod Racer come out for the Switch?
A year ago?
A couple of years ago, because I was still at my condo. So I think the Pod Racer game, when that came out, is when my gray ones died. So it would have been, at least 3 or 4 years that it lasted. And it was just like out of nowhere, it just stopped connecting and then started doing weird things and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't even drift. So I think there is I think there might be something to do with the type of games you play and whatever that may contribute to that. But yeah, I don't think it's unheard of for people to say, "Hey, I've never had a problem with Joy-Cons," but there's definitely people who have.
Yeah,
My son has.
between myself and the kids, I think we've sent in 4 sets of Joy-Cons for repair. But because early on I would play handheld mostly, but within the last 3 or 4 years I've been docked mostly, and when I'm playing with a Pro Controller, so I almost never use my Joy-Con anymore.
You have not had Joy-Con drift. You are the chosen ones.
Yes. Go play the lottery, Alan. Play the lottery.
Absolutely.
Do they have the high ground?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Next question from Patreon. This is Rouge McGee. Switch 2. I just want Nintendo to make the user experience more friendly. A customizable dashboard, better eShop performance, and why in the world, for a portable device, is there no way to lock the screen? It's a great question.
I never thought of that, but yeah, there is.
Hopefully you've enjoyed my interpretation of your questions and have expressed them at a level that you feel is appropriate for your level of frustration and the exclamation marks that you have added here. Thank you. This has been a Justin Reed's Patreon questions and comments brought to you by patreon.com/NintendoDads. Yeah, I agree. I think those are all awesome things that I think the Switch 2 would love to have. Listen, y'all can listen to Marty tell you how long he needs actual folders forever in a day. It's never going to happen. But I do think customizable, better user experience. Every time I see these mock-ups, you see them on Twitter. They're like, this is what the experience could look like. I was like, I know. Why don't we do that? That looks so much better. Nintendo, hire this person because that looks great, right? Customizable dashboard. Yes, please. Right. That would be amazing. Better eShop performance. Yes. But here's the problem. There's so many things in the eShop, it performs low because there's so many things it has to cache because everything is in the eShop. All right. How is TurboTax not in the eShop right now? All right. It would definitely be there. We just talked about Twitch being in there. So yeah, those are a couple things too.
One thing I would like to have seen the Switch do that the 3DS did was to let you change the size of the icons to have multiple rows instead of just one long row. Like I had my 3DS set up to show 3 rows.
Can I tell you what I would really love? And I know that we in Nintendo Dads have privilege that we get access to a lot of content. There is no doubt to that. What I would love is the ability to easily search my games instead of scrolling through rows and rows and rows and rows of games trying to find that one. I would like to just search on a little search bar at the very top and write in and predictive searching, right? I start
like
writing
your phone.
And it just there it is. Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. I love you. Moving on. As opposed to, okay, I got to figure. Okay, I've got to my wife and I, kid you not, on the OG Switches, which is where I do most of the content review, which is where most of the games that we download go there. She's like, hey, I want to play this this puzzle game, Night and Day, and I was like, cool. And I had to go to the full menu screen, and I'm scrolling through it, and I'm literally looking through every single line, trying to figure out where it was. I got
sort
to the
by
end.
A to Z.
Yeah, that would have been much smarter. I forgot about that feature. Son of a bee. I should have just done that. Well, folks, that's been it's been Justin's own stupidity. I forgot that was there, but I would also like a search function. I hate you so much, Jesse. I mean,
you're welcome.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Right on. Folks, that's
nope.
It.
Got a voicemail.
Nope. Oh, we got a voicemail. Let's hear it from Christian. Is it from Christian? I bet you it's from Christian.
It is Christian.
Hey, Nintendo Dads, it's me, Christian. I was just calling to wish you guys a happy Halloween, but I guess Halloween's over. But hopefully you guys had a great one. I surely did. It was awesome. We had our Yuka Clan hideout haunted house. We got pictures, and I'll have to post that up on your Facebook page soon. But anyway, my question is, so my family and I each of us got new Nintendo Switches with the OLED model, and I wanted to set them all up so that we can all play the games that we all purchased. And I thought I did it, and then I realized earlier this week that whenever I play on my Switch, the other person that wants to play, like my daughters or my wife, something pops up on their screen saying, oh, let me check the internet, see if this game is available, and then it kicks me out of my game so that they can play their game. And I think that's kind of messed up. I don't know if that's normal, but then I talked to other friends that have similar situations that I'm in where they play different Switches and they all can play their different games at the same time. So did I do something wrong? Let me know, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day, and talk to you soon.
This topic comes up all the time in our Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, if all of your games are purchased under one profile, then yeah, only that profile can only play one game at a time. Even if you're trying to play a different game on a different Switch, that profile can only play one game at a time. So it's why anyone that wasn't the primary get kicked. So my kids are older, so our solution is you buy your own games on your own profile. That way you don't have to touch my profile. Then we never conflict. I understand families with younger children don't want to do that. This also comes to, when it comes to Pokemon time, it's not uncommon for me to buy 4 copies, one for me, one for each of the kids. That way they have their own version and on their own profile. I understand. Yep. And I know that's not normal. Most families don't do that.
Yeah. Playing the game at the same time is not possible if it's the same game. But if they are playing a game that's you own, then you have to be in airplane mode playing something else so that the Switch is playing your game. Their Switch is playing. If it's your profile as a secondary on their Switch, then the only way they're going to be able to play it is if your primary Switch is on airplane mode.
Yeah, Basile says in the chat, the primary Switch has supremacy.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, if you're wanting to play a game online, you can't do that in airplane mode. So you're kind of in a catch-22 there. If you want to play Wonder with the online functionality, your kids can't be playing on the same profile on it as you.
They do not make it easy.
They do not.
They
want you to do what I do and just buy multiple copies of the game.
You got to buy multiple copies, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and I think I saw someone else here in the chat say, I got to a point, we have 3 Switches in this house. My kids actively play now, and I just got to a point when I'm purchasing a game, if I can, I'm going to just purchase it physical. And if you need to borrow the cartridge, you can, as opposed to trying to figure out who's on what profile. It just gets to be outrageous. And I've also experienced that problem before, where I'm like, hey, awesome, I've got my OLED, the one I keep in my office. I'm traveling, cool. I'm in an airport. I'm like, I'm going to play this Switch game while I'm traveling. And then I'm like, oh no, it's not the primary. So despite the fact that I have the cart in the system, I still need to authenticate that I can still play it. So before I jump on this flight, I need to tether it to my phone, and I need to validation that it is part of my own game and console. And then I need to put it in airplane mode or sleep mode. And because it was validated prior to with the internet connection before it going to sleep, I can still move it forward. It's a real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to pay the plumber, as Beer Cerveza says. Christian, I'd love to see those photos. If you can put them, you can DM us those. Can we post them on our
I think
Facebook
he said
page?
Facebook. Yeah, he said on Facebook he's gonna put them.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to see those. Those look awesome. Thank you for being such an active member in our community as well. We always love I think we should just rename the voicemail line to Christian's personal phone line, right? I think that's what we should do. So I love it though. Anything else we want to chat about, folks?
That is it.
Okay. Well, that is it. Before I dive us out, let me remind you, bonus episode hitting your podcast feed. Tim, Marty, Jesse, myself, we all sit down. We have a chat about the preview for Super Mario RPG that we got to see an experience. It was very cool. We talk a little bit about what's new in it, what we experienced, what our observations were, our hype level, and where this game kind of sits in the storyline and pantheon of the Nintendo, Mario, and the world. So check it out. And by the way, if you're like, podcasts are all right. Well, by the way, we got a video feed up on our YouTube channel. You can check that out. And it has footage that we can share with you as well. So make sure you check that out. Hey, speaking of, if you can, what would help us out? Head over to YouTube, click the subscribe button, click the bell button. We put out videos almost every single day. And we also have shorts that are going out. Casey's been doing a tremendous job. So lots more coverage on Nintendo stuff. We are trying to put out content that we think you would like and love. So there's game reviews, there's unboxings, there's everything. There's the podcast. Check it out. Also, of course, man, if you could like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you can leave a comment in our YouTube, or not YouTube, sorry, on any podcast catcher, that'd be amazing. As a matter of fact, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a giveaway. You want to be entered in the giveaway? We're going to give you a $20 Nintendo Switch eShop card. All you got to do is for the next month, all you got to do is go over to whatever your podcast catcher of choice is, provide a 5-star rating, and just whatever comments you want. Maybe you're like, I'm here for the eShop money. I'm here to see Tim lose pizza bet. I am here because I love Jesse's amazing beard. I think Marty Estes smells like barbecue sauce in Tennessee. I don't care what it is. Put it down there, all right? And we will do a draw and send someone a $20 Nintendo Switch eShop. So please, please help us out. We would very much love that. All right, so let's start closing out the stream.
And also, so this is for you, Justin. Don't forget, daylight savings time ends this weekend. So we will now really be in standard time.
I will stab you. Huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Dave Ernsburn, Jacqueline Mira, RJ Kern, and over 90 plus Patreon subscribers that help us. Thank you. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Of course, big thanks to our over 15 Twitch subs that support us every single month as well. And that is over 1,421 Twitch followers. Hugely, hugely appreciate it. Speaking of YouTube, over 7,000 followers on YouTube right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We greatly appreciate it. You are absolutely amazing. Hey, if you're looking for more information on the Nintendo Dads and what we do, head over to our website. That is nintendodads.org, and you're going to be able to find our Spotify feed and also the feed of all of our other amazing podcast family of network shows, including Dads After Dark, Retro Logic Family Podcast, which is Retro Logic, On Topic Retro, Retro Groove, and Film Logic. For our latest YouTube videos and tweets, you can check that out there or follow us on social media. Of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Threads. We're on Threads. Yeah, we're there. You can do that too. And of course, Patreon. Of course, you can support us there. And by the way, we do have our merch store, and we have the wrestling line of t-shirts where you can find the Business Justin 316 shirt. It's just business, or the NDWO t-shirts. We have both the Wolfpack and the white version. You can purchase that as part of our Wrestling Nintendo Dads merch collaboration. We'd love for you to be there, of course. Big thanks to our sponsors. That is HelloFresh, and of course Manscaped as well. Using that code NINDADS at checkout, it is fantastic. Hey, if you want to contact us, you can just go over and type in Nintendo Dads. Find us all on the web, so you can follow us wherever you want. Or you want to send us an email, head over to nintendodads@gmail.com. You can drop us an email. Or like Christian, if you want to call us, and send us a voicemail. Call us at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music that you're hearing throughout the show. Of course, as I mentioned before, head over to your podcast catcher of choice. Download us, subscribe, click follow, comments, stars, all the things to show us how much you love us. We greatly appreciate you for everything that you do. For myself, for Jesse, for Tim, and for a missing Marty Estes, be good to each other, love each other, and play some more video games. Come on! Also, support Extra Life. Come see us soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good.